You are 32 years old, finishing a 12-hour shift at a logistics desk at Malmstrom Air Force Base, grading a junior officer's performance review and thinking about the leaking faucet in your kitchen. The door opens. Two men in charcoal suits you don't recognize tell you to leave the folder and come with them. You don't ask where you're going because their posture suggests your consent is a formality they've already skipped. Within 3 hours, you are 60 feet underground, sitting in a shock-mounted steel chair looking at a heavy safe that requires 2 separate keys to open simultaneously. Your life as a person with opinions or suburban future is over. You are now a biological component of a launch sequence. You are the lowest level of the most dangerous hierarchy on Earth, a missile combat crew member, and the only thing that matters is your ability to turn a key exactly when a voice on the radio tells you to. You spend your days in a concrete pill, 60 feet below the Montana topsoil, sharing a small space with a partner you are trained to watch as closely as you watch the console. The rule is absolute, the two-man rule. You are never alone with the red switch. You eat, sleep, and breathe in a 24-hour cycle of readiness, waiting for an emergency action message that you hope never comes. You hold level 1 access. You don't know the codes, you only know how to verify them. When the message crackles through the speaker, a string of alphanumeric characters, you reach for the cookie, the sealed plastic authenticator. You snap it open. You compare the code inside to the one on the screen. If they match, you and your partner insert your keys into slots located several feet apart so one person cannot turn both. You learn the psychological weight of the no-go decision. You realize that your entire existence has been reduced to a mechanical function. You are a circuit breaker in a system designed to incinerate cities you've never visited. The moral tension begins as a dull ache in your jaw. You start to wonder if, when the buzzer sounds, your hand will actually move. You rationalize it by telling yourself that by the time you turn the key, the world you're trying to protect is already gone. You are not a killer. You are a janitor for the end of the world. 3 years of perfect evaluations and a complete lack of psychological hesitation lead to your promotion. You are moved from the dirt of Montana to the windowless corridors of the Pentagon. You are now a watch officer at the National Military Command Center. You have level 2 access. You are no longer waiting for the codes. You are part of the team that authenticates their movement through the global nervous system. You sit in a room filled with flickering monitors, watching the status of every nuclear-capable asset on the planet. You see the submarines in the Pacific, the bombers in North Dakota, and the silos in the heartland as a series of glowing icons. Your job is to ensure that the command from the president reaches the shooters without a single bit of data being corrupted. You learn the language of the permissive action link, POW. You understand that the weapons are locked by a complex series of codes that prevent unauthorized use, and you are the one who manages the flow of those keys. You see the immense friction of the system. You deal with false alarms, technical glitches, and the constant low-level hum of cyber attacks from foreign adversaries. You realize that the peace the world enjoys is actually a fragile web of high-speed data held together by people like you who haven't slept more than 5 hours a night in a year. The stakes are no longer about your individual key. They are about the integrity of the entire American arsenal. Your proficiency in the NMCC earns you a seat on the E-4B Nightwatch, the Doomsday plane. You have reached level 3 access. You spend your life 30,000 feet in the air, orbiting in a hardened Boeing 747 designed to survive the electromagnetic pulse of a nuclear blast. You are a battle commander in the National Airborne Operations Center. If the Pentagon is vaporized, you are the new center of the world. You carry a satchel that contains the redundant launch sequences for every wing of the Strategic Command. You are the redundancy. You live in a state of permanent flight, refueling mid-air, watching the world below through a lens of tactical vulnerability. You learn the looking glass protocol. You are the shadow government. The psychological shift at this level is a sense of profound detachment. From 6 miles up, the cities below don't look like places where people live. They look like nodes in a grid. You begin to see the world as a game of continuity of government. You realize that the hierarchy of access is designed to ensure that even if 100 million people die, the ability to kill another 100 million remains intact. You are the guardian of the graveyard. From the air, you were pulled into the Black Book division of the Joint Staff. You are now an SIOP Planner, the Single Integrated Operational Plan. You have Level 4 access. You are the architect of the apocalypse. You don't just move the codes, you decide where the warheads go. You sit in a high-security vault and use supercomputers to calculate desired ground zeros. You factor in wind patterns, population density, and overpressure PSI to ensure maximum lethality. You learn that there are 2,000 targets in a major exchange, and you know the name of every one of them. You see the math of human extinction. You clear a plan that would kill 50 million people in the first 40 minutes, and you do it with the same clinical coldness you once used to grade performance reviews. The moral dilemma is now a mountain. You have to convince yourself that by making the plan more efficient, you are actually deterring the enemy from ever making you use it. You spend your weekends at home, looking at your neighbors and calculating exactly how many seconds it would take for their houses to turn into ash based on the current targeting of the rival superpower. You are no longer a soldier. You are a mathematician of the void. Your performance in planning catches the eye of the White House. You are selected for the most intimate role in the hierarchy, the Presidential Military Aide. You have Level 5 access. You are the shadow. You are the man in the uniform who stands 3 feet behind the president at all times, carrying a black leather bag known as the football. Inside is the Black Book of retaliatory options, the secure radio, and the authentication codes. You are the physical link between the commander-in-chief and the end of history. You sleep in the same hotels, you travel on Air Force One, you are present during his most private moments. You see him when he is tired, when he is angry, and when he is indecisive. You realize that the most powerful man in the world is just a human being, and yet he carries a plastic card in his pocket, the biscuit, that can trigger the SIOP you helped write. You learn the decision window. In a surprise attack, the president has less than 6 minutes to listen to a briefing, weigh the options, and provide the gold code. You are the one who has to hand him the bag and walk him through the options while the world is potentially screaming toward its end. The proximity to power is intoxicating and terrifying. You realize that you are the only person in the room who truly understands what is in that bag. You are the custodian of the ultimate if. Your career takes a final, legitimate turn when you are appointed as the Secretary of Defense. You have Level 6 access. You are the second person in the 2-man rule at the very top of the chain. While the president has the sole authority to order a strike, he cannot do it alone. The order must be verified by you. You are the confirming authority. You sit in the situation room during a crisis looking at the president. If he pulls the biscuit and reads the code, the NMCC will call you. They will ask for your confirmation. You cannot veto the order, but your refusal to verify it would trigger a constitutional crisis in the middle of a nuclear countdown. You are the final moral check. You realize that the entire weight of the world's survival rests on the relationship between 2 people in a room. You have the power to say no and face a firing squad, or say yes and face the end of the species. You manage the permissive action link infrastructure at the highest level. You spend your days in meetings about budget allocations and carrier strike groups, but your nights are spent rehearsing the phone call. You have reached a level of power where your personal conscience is the only thing standing between 7 billion people and the fire. You are no longer a person, you are a constitutional function. The final transition is the most inevitable. Through a series of political maneuvers and a landslide election, you are now the President of the United States. You have Level 7 access. You are the sole authority. You carry the biscuit in your breast pocket.
It is a small laminated card with a series of random letters and numbers. It feels heavier than the building you live in. You are given the full brief on your first day. You are taken to the PEOC, the Presidential Emergency Operations Center, beneath the White House. They show you the red screen. They tell you that you are the only person on Earth who can authorize the use of a Trident II D5 missile. You learn the flash message system. You realize that the hierarchy you spent your life climbing was built to serve this one moment, this one card, this one person. The isolation is total. You cannot talk to your spouse about it. You cannot talk to your friends. When you look at the football standing by the door, you don't see a bag, you see a coffin for the planet. You have the power to destroy everything you've ever loved, and the system is designed to make it as easy as possible for you to do so. You are the apex of the pyramid, and you realize that the view from the top is just a vast, scorched horizon. But there is one more level. It is a level that doesn't exist in the manuals. Level 8. You are the shadow architect. After your term ends, or after a crisis that almost broke the world, you are brought into a quiet, underground facility in an undisclosed location. You are the custodian of continuity. You are the one who realizes that the codes, the bags, and the buttons are all a grand, necessary illusion to maintain the balance of terror. You are the one who designs the next generation of the hierarchy. You sit in a room with the former leaders of other nuclear powers, the Ghost Council. You realize that the global nuclear infrastructure is a single interconnected machine that transcends borders. You understand that the codes are not for war. They are the ritualistic language of a secular religion designed to keep the high priests in check. You watch a new 32-year-old captain enter a silo in Montana. He looks nervous. He looks like he's worried about his mortgage. You watch him put his hand on the key. You know that he thinks he is the one in control. You know that the president thinks he is the one in control. But you know the truth. The system is in control. The hierarchy is the only thing that is real. You spend your final years in a bunker that will survive a direct hit from a 5-megaton warhead. You have all the codes. You have access to every frequency. You watch the monitors as the world continues its frantic, beautiful, and violent dance. You see the alerts come in, a stray missile from a rogue state, a cyber glitch in a Russian radar station, a tense standoff in the South China Sea. You watch the military aides and the watch officers scramble to maintain the web. You are the memory of the machine. You realize that the cost of ultimate power is the loss of your status as a human being. You are now a part of the cold, eternal math of the deterrent. Somewhere, a new beginner is being selected. He is grading a performance review. He has no idea that he